A recent addition to my camera collection is a Kodak Ektra 200. And this is a film that shoots 110 film, which is a much smaller format than 35mm. It's 16mm in width, which makes it the same size as 16mm film, which is a motion picture film. And this 110 film is essentially 16mm film, but it's called 110. 110 film, 16mm, and then 35mm is called 135. If you compare those two names, it makes more sense. 110 film is just a much smaller format than 35mm. Obviously, you're going to get more grain and less resolution, but much more compact cameras that shoot this film. So this format was introduced in the early 70s as a sort of easier way to shoot film. I mean, even loading a 35mm camera can be really tricky, and it's really easy to make mistakes with 120 and 35mm and lose all your pictures, for example. 110 was designed to be easier, and then you've got much more sort of insurance on your photos that they will all come out. Like, for example, you can open the back of a 110 camera and the only frame that you'll lose is the frame you just shot. This is thanks to the 110 film's sort of double barrel design, which keeps all the film inside a light sealed place at all times, apart from that frame that is ready to be shot. Another good thing about this double barrel design, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to call it that, is you don't have to rewind the film at the end. There's no risk of opening the back door too soon. Just loads of advantages over 35mm in terms of ease of use, especially if you've never shot any film before. It just makes the whole thing easier, and gives you sort of an insurance on your pictures that they will all come out. You can't really mess up shooting on 110 film. So I went on a walk with the Ektra. It was a cloudy day. The camera has an f11 22mm lens, so it's not letting a lot of light in, but I went for a walk on a cloudy day, and the camera was an eBay find, so it had a roll of film in it, half shot, which expired in 1999, and I thought I may as well just go and finish it off to see what's on the roll. And there were some pictures of some women at the beach. There were a lot of colour shifts because this film is so old, but they came out all right. They still came out with massive vignettes and sort of these green tones all over them, but they still came out. They actually came out better than the pictures that I shot, probably because they took them on a sunny day. So yeah, that was interesting to see that those pictures still survived on that roll. So I knew that this roll would come out weird. I mean, it's so old. And I was looking at films to buy for this camera to make this video, and the only people making 110 film these days are Lomography, and they make a 200 speed film called Tiger. And I bought a roll and went out and shot it. It is a 200 speed film, and this camera is designed for 200 speed films. They just came out really dark, and I have no idea why. Like, half the roll was completely unusable, completely unexposed. I was very aware that I went out shooting this on a cloudy day. I don't know why they were so unexposed. It was really weird. There must be something wrong with the camera because they were just too dark. There's no way these inconsistencies weren't due to the light. These were due to something going wrong. I was very aware I was shooting with an f11 lens, and it was overcast, but there was still quite a lot of light. They shouldn't have come out this dark. I don't really know what happened, but half the roll was completely unexposed. Really weird. But the shots that did come out were okay. I really don't like the look of this. I think it was a combination of underexposing this roll slightly, and the scanner that these got scanned on just didn't really do 16mm justice. They were nothing like any of the sample pictures that I'd seen on the internet. Maybe I should have just shot this roll in some sun, but I don't know. I don't think they didn't come out very nice. Like, I don't like any of the pictures. I only shot this roll for this video to show you what it looks like, but they came out really weird. I don't really like any of them, but hey, at least I know not to use this camera again. So this camera is just a tiny little point and shoot. Pentax makes a 110 camera that is still very small, but with different lenses which are much sharper, and more of an advanced camera to shoot 110 film on if you really want to. I knew this camera would come out looking weird, but not this. I didn't think it would be this bad, but it was. And I think it was mostly down to the amount of light and the scanner that got used to scan this film. I don't think it really scanned it that well. I don't think it does 110 film that nicely. Maybe I'll shoot another roll and get it scanned somewhere else on a better scanner, but I'm not sure. So the lens on this camera is a 22mm lens and it's fixed at f11. So f11 is not gonna let a lot of light through, especially when you're shooting 200 speed film, and it's not like the lens is stopped down to f11 so you get any like sharpness advantages. That is the lens wide open, so you're shooting at f11 with a load of chromatic aberration and vignette, and it only being sharp, if you can call it that, in the center of the frame. Yeah, I mean, unless you bought a flash for this camera, which they do make, which does make sense with this camera because of how little light it lets in, the flash would actually make sense. Unless you got a flash or you're shooting it on a sunny day, it's just not worth it. I don't think this film looks good enough to outweigh the inconvenience of carrying a 35mm camera, in my opinion. Specifically this one. I mean, the Pentax 110 camera looks okay, and obviously you'd have to get these scanned a lot better because it is that much smaller of a format. Scanning is very important. How good your scanner is going to be a big factor in how nice your pictures come out with 110 film. So when I initially found out about 110 film, finding out that it's so much smaller than 35mm, initially I would have thought you'd get 72 pictures a roll or more pictures per roll because the film's smaller, but there seems to be no advantage in terms of size. I mean, the cameras are much smaller, but you only get 24 pictures a frame, not even 36. So there really is no advantage in terms of size, other than it fits in your pocket nicely. It would be cool if you got 72 pictures a roll, but you don't. I'm not sure. It is a very small camera that you could bring anywhere, but for me, I don't think I'm going to be picking it up again anytime soon without a flash or in the sun. I just wasn't happy overall with these pictures, but I'm still glad I shot the roll because I have learnt from it, and I hope this video entertains you in some sort of way. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this size. Like, I'm thinking about my Contax T. With the lens folded in, that camera is not far off from the size of this Ektra. It's not that much of an advantage, the size. There are loads of 35mm point and shoots out there that are probably a third bigger than this in size, and it would just be so worth it to shoot 35mm, especially in 2021. I think it would definitely be worth it just to buy a 35mm point and shoot and not shoot 110 film. That would be my advice. I can't really think of many pros to the 110 format in 2021. I see why it was invented, I see why it was made, but right now it's not worth it, I don't think. I wouldn't advise it, especially not the Kodak Ektra. I definitely wouldn't. So thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, give me a like and subscribe if you want to. Cheers.